Okay, so today the agenda is to really look at how you can use vtiger and actually personalize vtiger. In one of the earlier webinars, we talked about how you can configure vtiger for your business. That in that particular webinar, we covered things like how can you select the modules you want to use and set up roles and profiles, add custom fields, and so basically customizing the CRM for your business. But today we wanted to look at how each individual within your business can customize it for their own needs. So clearly you have different employees in different groups using the CRM, and each within a group, within a sales group, for example, you might have different salespersons with different preferences. So vtiger provides different settings that you can use to personalize the CRM for your individual needs. So that's really the agenda for today, and we'll go through these in different steps here. So first I'm going to show you the preferences page. So you can basically, we start off with configuring things like time zone and things like that in preferences, and we have a few other things going down the list here. So let me quickly switch the view to the CRM, and okay, once you log into the vtiger CRM on demand, on the top you will see my preferences, and when you click on my preferences you will be able to see the settings that I am talking about. So to start with, you might want to set the time zone. So that's right here. So I'm located in the in Bangalore, so I set the time zone to the local time zone here. So you can basically configure the time zone to any of the values here. Then you can also set the date format, and there are 3 different date formats that are prevalent. So you can set the date format to one of these choices. You can configure the theme. So right now I'm actually using the software theme. So this is basically the look and feel of the system. If you want to try some of the other themes, there are a couple of other themes that the system comes with. So once you change the theme, if you just save it and reload the page, you will see that the UI has changed to the other theme. Okay. You can always change it back. In addition to these settings, you can also configure your currency preference, which currency you want to use. So if you added currencies under settings, you'll see those currencies listed in this. So right now, by default, the system comes with the US dollars currency, but you can add more currencies by going to the settings page. And this is done by the administrator. So your administrator can log in and add more currencies. Okay, by clicking on this button. And once you add a new currency, let's say I'm going to add India rupees, and let's say I'm going to give 50 rupees conversion. And I can go back to my preferences and make my currency, change my currency to the Indian rupees. And you can also configure the separator in your currency. So if you want the decimals to appear after 2 dots, 2 decimals, and you can also configure the grouping separator. So in case if you're in, for example, South America, in some countries the period and the comma are interchanged. So all those things can be configured here. And these are basically user level settings. And in addition, you can also configure the reminder that you want reminder interval that is used to show reminder pop-ups for calendar events. Okay, so you can set it to 5 minutes or 15 minutes. So you have that flexibility here. Let me set it to 5 minutes here. Okay, so as you can see in my preferences, you have different things, and in addition to this, you have the ability to configure your home page. So if you click on Edit, you can go down and edit some of the settings on the home page as well. So we'll come to this a little later during the webinar. So after the my preferences, this next thing I wanted to cover is the custom list, which is basically the ability to filter the records to view the records that you are interested in. So as you can imagine, in a CRM, you have thousands of records, thousands of contacts, and you want to specifically zone in on the records that you want to work on at that point. So for example, in my contacts list here, I have probably some 100 contacts here, and let's say I only want to focus on certain contacts that are in my region. Okay, then I can go and create a filter by clicking on this create filter icon link. Okay, and maybe for now I'm just going to say Bermuda contacts. So here I can create a filter on any field. So it could be based on the owner of the record, or based on the region, based on any setting in the record. So for my example here, I'm going to do a filter on the country, and I'll say equals Bermuda. Okay. And I can configure what columns I want to view in that list. So I want to say first name, last name, and a few other fields. I can say account name, and up to 9 columns I can select in this view. Okay, and I will also show the mailing country. Okay, so now you can see it created a filter, and I only see the contacts that are in Bermuda. Okay, so likewise, you can create a filter on any parameter. So let me go back and edit this filter, and I can even, for example, do a filter on created date. So if I only want to see all the contacts that are created today, then I can do that. So let's say from start date, or I can actually just select today and save it. And this is in addition to the previous filter, so you'll see that these contacts were also created today. So I'm going to add one more column here to see the created time. Okay, so as you can see here, there is the this contact was created today, and that's why it's appearing on this list. In addition to viewing this list, in fact, vtiger offers a feature where you can add this filter view to the home page. So in home page, there is actually a view that shows key metrics. So in your company, if you want to see certain key metrics, you can use the key metrics widget here. I'm going to just move it up so that we see all the way at the top. Okay. So you see key metrics, and right now there are about 5 key metrics that are there by default in the system. So every one of you, when you sign up for vtiger, you will have these key metrics. But you can add more to these key metrics. So right now, let's say I created this filter, and I want to add this to the key metrics. So all I need to do is click on this list in metrics and save it. And now if I go back and reload this page, actually reload this widget, I see there is a new view, a new count here. So it shows that there are 2 records that match this filter. So this is useful for you when you want to, for example, get a quick view of how many records are assigned to you, or how many trouble tickets are open, or how many potentials are open. So you can create filters and just enable that checkbox, and you'll see that filter in the key metrics. Okay, so that's definitely a useful thing for you when you want to customize it for your own purpose. So I think the filters is definitely a very, I would say, powerful way to manage the large data that you have. You can create the filters, and if you want to share this filter with others, you can make it public. And when you make it public, an administrator can actually can approve that filter to be seen by all others. So if you want a filter to be viewed by all your colleagues, you just need to make it public. And if you are the administrator, then you will get this link that says approve. And once you approve it, all other users in your company will be able to see this filter. Okay. So these filters are available in all modules. So I'm actually just for the purpose of this example, I picked the contacts module as an example. But if you see, even if I go to invoices or quotes or potentials, everywhere you will see filters. And you can create the filters the same way that I showed you. Okay. And one other benefit to creating filters is on the home page. If you go back to the home page, if you want to see, right now you see, for example, that there are 2 Bermuda contacts. But if you actually want to see the 2 records right on the home page, all you need to do is click on this plus button and click on add module and select, give it a title. So we'll call it Bermuda contacts just to avoid any confusion. And you can select up to 12 to appear on this list, because on the home page we want to kind of preserve that widget look where you can see a lot of snapshots. And here I'm selecting the contacts module because the filter I created was in the contacts module. And here I see the filter name. And as you know, we created the filter with this name, Bermuda contacts. And I can select up to 2 columns here, as it says here, select any 2. And I can save this. Now you'll see a new widget appear on this side. Okay, so now you're seeing the actual records themselves right here. So that's another benefit of having filters. So on the home page, you can create quick views of the filters that you create. So key metrics is one thing, and new modules that you can add is the second thing. So those are all available to you after you create the filters. Okay. So we'll then move on to go back to the My Preferences and look at the other things that you can control on this home page. So as you can see, there are a lot of default widgets that appear. And if you don't need any of these widgets, you can go back to the Preferences page and hide some of these default columns. So I'm going to click on Edit. Here I can actually hide some of the default columns. Maybe I'll say top quotes, I'll hide it. Okay, maybe pending activities. And I can save this. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the home page. So you see there's less information, less widgets now. So my group allocation also is there something I wanted to remove. So I'm going to go back and hide that as well from the home page. So if I reload this, now you should see that widget disappear. Again, you can move around the widgets to place them in the position that is convenient for you. And any of these records, you can click on them to drill down and look at those particular records. So those links are all active links. Okay, so let me go back to the slideshow here and quickly show you what we just covered. So we looked at My Preferences, then we looked at custom lists, which are filters, and then we looked at homepage, how you can configure the homepage. One other thing you can do on the homepage is the ability to add dashboards. So we looked at adding a module, and now we can also add dashboards, which are basically charts. And vtiger by default comes with a lot of charts. You can actually select any of these charts, let's say leads by industry, or let's say potentials. Okay, let's look at invoices. I want to pick something that has some data, so I'm just going and selecting something that has some data here. And you can give it a title. Okay, so it's going to let you add those custom dashboards that you can basically view all the dashboards here, but if you just want to view some of them on the home page, you can add them here. You can also add RSS widgets. So if you're interested in looking at news on your home page when you log in, if you have some particular news feeds that you want to see, you can add that here. So maybe I'll just pick up some particular news feed here. I'm going to copy a newsfeed address here, and I'm going to go back and add it here. Okay, now you see the news appearing from that feed on your home page. And you can add any number of news feeds on this. And if you want to jot down some quick notes, you can also add this notes widget. It helps you quickly type in, scribbling up some notes from a call. If you want to just keep it on a temporary basis, you can put it here. Okay, and once you move your mouse over to some area, some other area, and click on it, this gets automatically stored. Okay, and again, you can double click and edit this. So those are all the things that you can do from the home page. So then I wanted to look at what you can do on the calendar to configure the calendar. So let me go back to the demo here. And if you go back to the calendar module, right around here you see settings, and these are calendar settings. And you can basically configure who you want to share your calendar with. So you can list, you see all the list of users here, you can add them. And these users will now be able to see your calendar. Okay. And you can also set the start time to different times. So if you are starting at 9 a.m. every day, then when you go to the calendar view, then your calendar is going to start showing up at 9 a.m. So if you go to the week view, okay. So this 9 a.m. start time is configurable here. And you can also change the time format from 24 hours to 12 hours and vice versa. So then the next thing that you can do from a personalization point of view is really creating reports that are going to be helpful to you. So vtiger allows you to create custom reports from the reports module. Okay, and I'll walk you through the steps of how to create a report. As you can see here, when you go to the reports module, there are a lot of reports that come by default. But it's very easy for you to create your own reports by clicking on this plus button here. So you just click on the plus button, and it will list all the modules that you can create the report on. And you can select, for example, let's say I want to create a report on the sales potentials. I'm going to create a name, give it a name here. Let's say December potentials. And I can place it in any folder. As you see on the left-hand side, these are the different folders that it can put it in, and I'm going to select potential reports, and I'll place it under that. And you can actually pull in data from additional modules. into this report. So in case you want to pull in data from the related account, you can select that as well. Let me select a related account here. And when you create a report, if you want to create a grouping of information, then you can go with the summary report. Basically, it will allow you to do some additional groupings. I'll cover that in the step number 5 here. So this is available when you do reporting, summary report. So in the step number 4, you are now selecting what columns to view in your report. So let's say I want to see potential name, the amount, the expected close date, the owner, which is the assigned to, and you can select even information from the related account, and you can select, for example, the city, billing state, and all that. So we'll just show the billing country, shipping. Okay. I just want to give you an idea about how you can pull in the data. As you can see, every module that you select in the related module list, all the fields will appear in this list here. And you can reorder them here using the link. And you can group them by the account or any of the fields. So again, you have a choice here. So if you want to see all the potentials belonging to one account appear together, then you can do the grouping. And if there are a lot of potentials, and if you want to see the maximum, what is the largest value and the lowest value, and also have the system compute the average and the sum, you can do that. Okay, and you can see, you can now specify filters. So as we are interested in creating a filter to show December potentials, we are specifically interested in opportunities that are closing in December. So I'm going to say expected close date, and I will say this month. Okay. And you can even use advanced filters to say where sales stage equals certain value, and you have all sorts of flexibility in creating this report. So I'm going to, anyway, for this purpose, I'm going to just filter on the close date. And you can share this report with all others or keep it private. Or when you make it share, you can even select specific users you want to share with. Okay, so that's also available. And the last step is that you can actually have the system run this report periodically and send an email out to the recipients that you configure here. So this is also useful for you when you're basically doing a lot of activities in the system. You want to have it send a report out periodically. This is a nice way to do it. So now we created that report, and I think I only have a couple of potentials in my database right now, but let's see what we can find. Actually, let me go back to the other one I created, December potentials. So as you can see, there's basically one record here, and it's showing you the account name. And since this is the only potential that's going to close in December, so this is what I have in my database right now. So I have a different potential, but let me customize this report and change it to remove that filter, and then we'll see that it actually has more than one potential. So I'm going to just make it custom and keep it open. Now I see there are two potentials. So I'm basically not filtering on anything. I'm looking at all the potentials in this list. So this particular potential is going to close on in January, so that's why it did not appear when I filtered on December. So what I wanted to give you is basically an idea about how to create such reports. Again, just to rehash, all you need to do is go to Analytics Reports and click on the plus button. Select the module that you want to create the report on, and basically you'll have the report creation wizard, and you follow through the steps that we just went through. Okay. So reports are going to be quite useful, and when you create a report, you can also export those reports to a PDF file or to an Excel file. And so lastly, I wanted to show you one more element where you can basically have your personal information or personalize the system, and that is the mail client that is built into the CRM. So each one of you might have your own mail system, and if you're looking for a simple mail client that you want to use within the CRM, then vtiger actually comes with that. So as you can see here, just go to home page and click on Mail Manager. There's actually an older mail client that we had called Webmail, and we have now replaced that with Mail Manager. So going forward, you will only see Mail Manager, and Webmail will be deprecated. Mail Manager is much better in terms of performance and in terms of usability. Okay, so all you need to do is go to the Mail Manager, and when you click on Settings, you'll come up with this window, and depending on what mail client, what is your mail account, you can select that and enter those values, and once you save it, you'll start seeing your emails here. And the nice thing with the mail client that is built into vtiger is it allows you to synchronize your emails and attach the emails to the records in the CRM. So you're able to keep a history of all your email communication with your customers right in the CRM. Okay, so let me, for example, this email came from AppSumo, and it automatically found that this address, there's a matching account with that address, which is this account. Let me actually open this in a new window. Okay, so this account is basically matched to that, and here you can attach the email to that record. So it will basically let you easily attach the emails, and here if you refresh this page, and go to the email section on that account, okay, it basically attached the email. So I think I already attached it once before, so it shows it twice. Okay, so the built-in mail client is one of the, you can think of it as a lightweight email client which lets you read your inbox, and you can respond to the emails, and you can attach those emails to your records in vtiger. Okay, so those were the main things. Let me just switch back to the presentation and make sure we covered all the topics. So as we looked at in the preferences page, we were able to configure the time zone, the date format, the language, theme, currency, and the reminder interval. We looked at how you can configure the filters, where you could create custom lists, and we also saw how you can add those views into the home page, into the key metrics, and into even custom widgets. Okay, and you were able to find how you can show and hide default widgets. We added modules. We also added dashboards. We looked at how you can configure the calendar. And we looked at how to create custom reports. And lastly, the mail manager. In terms of the other things you can do, we certainly will be going through a few more topics in the webinars that are coming through in the coming weeks and months. There's a lot of information in our documentation, and I would certainly encourage you to look at our user manual to see some of the things where you can configure the system easily through, for example, creating workflows, creating custom fields, and things like that. So I just wanted to show you the documentation pages here. So if you go to vtiger.com/help, you'll find the FAQ portal where you find answers to questions. There's documentation, and there's also videos.